Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PMaxStellar session today. I thank you all for taking your time out to attend this session today on Performance Max campaign. I'm your speaker today. My name is Shatanshu, and I'm a program lead at Google. I have over 10 years of experience working on Google Ads, and I have been associated with Google for over 5 years now. Before we start, and before I talk about the agenda for the call today, I just wanted to clarify and also give you an information on the exciting opportunities that you have as an attendee to achieve today. There are a few options and there are a few prizes to be won. One, you get a chance to meet the PMs. There's a team of product managers that works, and they are the ones who are the face behind the product. They are the ones who develop these products. They seek your input, they seek your feedback, and you can stand a chance to meet them if you participate in our call today. There are multiple ways to participate. We'll talk about those in a little bit from now. You also will get an opportunity to join our very enriched and very experienced product expert community. So there is a product expert community of Google Ads, which has some of the broadest and brightest minds of Google Ads across the globe. They come there, they talk, and they engage with users, and they try to solve their queries. You can stand a chance to join that community as well. You'll have to qualify for that. You have to participate here. You have to engage with us. You also have to share your feedback, and then you will get a chance to be part of the PE community. You also can win Google Swag. Engage with us now live, and during the live stream, ask us questions, provide your feedback, and that will give you an opportunity to win Google Swag as well. Now, you may ask, how can you participate and what all ways of participation are there? The first and foremost, on your screen on the right side, you see there's a QR code which you need to scan. So if you scan that QR code, it will take you to a form, a Google form. If you submit that Google form and give us your quality input, ensure that you are sharing valid email ID because that's the only way we can get back to you. And also share the list of CIDs that you manage in order for us to have a look at the accounts that you manage and the progress that you make after the session on those accounts. So once you fill that form, you will be part of the participants who stand a chance to win these opportunities, these prizes that are there for all of the attendees who are attending and who are joining us today. So one, as I said, fill up the form, which you can do by by scanning the QR code on your screen. And the second is that you can also engage with us during the live stream session. So ask us your questions, share your feedback, and some of you, those who are most engaging and have engaged the most with us during the session, will get a chance to win these prizes that we discussed about, which is meet the PMs, join the PE community, and or Google Swag. With that said, let's quickly talk about the agenda for the call today. We'll first do a quick introduction to Performance Max campaign. Later, we'll talk about how you can start using Performance Max campaign for different marketing objectives. Later in the session, we'll talk about how you can optimize your Performance Max campaign and how you can take advantage of insights available under PMax. We'll also briefly touch upon feed optimization and best practices for Performance Max. The focus there would be towards retail advertisers and clients that you manage who are into retail field. With that said, let's quickly understand the scenario and the landscape today. If you look at if you look at yourself as a consumer, and if you look around, you have now more options than ever before, right? For example, I recently started to research for a new car, and I wanted to purchase a car which can run on petrol or gas. And in my process to search for best value for money petrol car or a gas car, I ended up discovering the fact that electric cars are a better option. And then I started searching about electric cars, and then I ended up booking one of the electric cars. Now, that's the variety of options that individuals have today. you can start searching for one product, and you may very well end up purchasing a product which is not even a part of your consideration when you started your research. So that's how many options are available now for consumers, and they are all your target group. They are all part of your target group. They have multiple ways to inspire. They have multiple channels to look for. They have multiple ways to research about your product and services, and they also have multiple ways to purchase your product. Right? For example, if you're working for a retail customer, the product may be available at your offline store. It may be available at a D2C website that belongs to your client. It can be available on a marketplace. It can be being resell by a different vendor as well. So there are multiple ways to purchase as well. So consumer have multiple options, and that makes it very tricky for a marketer like yourself and me to manage that dynamics of the market, right? For marketers, what this means is that the speed at which we have to analyze data, the speed at which we have to find customer insight, and adapt how your brand show up in unlike anything. So this is now more, the dynamic nature of research and dynamic nature of your users behavior is more now as compared to ever before, and that has a lot to do because of the fact that consumers now have more options to research, to purchase, to buy, to also get inspired. And hence it's very critical that you're reaching out to the right customer with the right masses, and that now is a moving target. So it's not like you can create a messaging, and you can hope that this masses will work for 6 months or an year. You have to constantly keep on changing your masses. You have to constantly reconsider how your right customer and who your right customer is, because your customer or a target group, which is the right customer for you today, may not continue to be the same 6 months down the line, because as I said, there's a lot of dynamics that is changing in market, and that makes your right customer and right market a moving target which changes very rapidly. And hence you have, as a marketer, you also have to be prepared to tackle and to ensure that you are capturing those insights and those data in order to target your customers better. Now, during the 2022 holiday season, because we are now closing and we are close to a holiday season this year as well, so it becomes very critical to understand that during the 2022 holiday season, almost more than half of the shoppers used at least five or more channels, like videos and social media, to shop over a 2 days period. So over a 2 day of period, they went to more than five channels, and I'm talking about more than 50%, around 55%, if I be more precise, of the users actually went on five or more channels, including the videos, video channels, and social media and whatnot, before they made a decision, before they purchased, or before they ended up buying a product. So that tells you a lot about the varieties of channels that are available at every consumer's exposure. And that brings us to Performance Max. Now what Performance Max does is it tries to solve for those challenges that marketers are facing these days, which is to ensure that you're available at all the channels that your prospect customers are visiting, at the same time also ensuring that you have right customer being targeted with the right masses, even if it's a moving target. Now Performance Max helps you do that. Now how does it do is that it helps you use Google's AI and its power, and then it helps you reach out to your prospect customers across all the Google surfaces, which includes shopping, Gmail, search, YouTube, discovery, display, maps, among others, right? So you have all these inventories or all these Google surfaces at your exposure when it comes to Performance Max. So consider Performance Max as a goal focused or goal aware campaign, and in a path to purchase aware campaign that ensures that your product and your services are being opted in, no matter which channel individuals or your prospect customers spend time on. So that's precisely what Performance Max does. Now, in order to give you success, Performance Max uses Google's AI, and there are three ways in which it helps you drive result. Now, the first of which is it helps you by multiplying your customer connections by finding new customers across all of Google channels and inventories, right? For example, if you are running a search campaign and you are limiting yourself to just search channel, you are only targeting, say, probably a handful of all the prospect customers. Now, as soon as you start utilizing Performance Max, what happens now is that you have visibility across all the surfaces, and hence your customer connections multiply. You are now being visible to your prospect customers and your prospect buyers on more than one channel, and hence it's also able to find those new customers which you were not able to capture or which you were not able to target with the help of a channel specific campaign. So that's one benefit. Now, the other is that Performance Max is also ROI conversion opportunity focused, which means Performance Max will ensure that you're capturing all those conversion actions that are high on ROI. So it will ensure that your ROI is improved and your ROI or your return on ad spend is actually optimized. Now, to do that, what it does is it captures all those conversion actions that can be achieved at a lower cost as compared to a conversion action that may take higher ad spend. And in order, it brings conversions at a lower cost. Now, when it brings conversions at a lower cost, you end up having more conversions, conversion actions being fulfilled in your ad campaign as compared to any other campaign type. So that's another benefit that you have, and that's another way through which Performance Max ensures and uses Google's AI in order to multiply conversions and conversion value for your campaign. The third and definitely not the least is by multiplying your expertise by a very enriched insights that comes with Performance Max. So if you go to Performance Max campaign, there are a bunch of insights that are available for you to explore, and those insights helps you in two ways. One, it gives you a good look of your campaign performance, of your asset performance, of your product performance, and then you are able to take that data back and optimize your campaign better. So that's one. And the other way that it helps you also is by answering your clients' strategic questions, which you may not be otherwise able to answer. So these insights helps you get those valuable information that you can then share with your client or your customer or your business partners, and you will be able to justify your campaign performance, and you will also be able to show your expertise in front of your clients and customers. Now, what we'll do in the next segment is we'll go to each and every of the PMax marketing objectives for which Performance Max is a good fit. I'll repeat, if you have any questions, any queries at any point of time, please take advantage of the chat option that you have on Google, YouTube, live stream link. You can ask your questions there, and we'll make sure that your questions are being addressed as and when the time permit. All right. With that said, let's quickly look at which all marketing objective is a good fit for Performance Max. I see a question. Then this is supposed to start at 11:30 a.m. EST. The session has started. I'm not sure if this comment came earlier. I hope you all can see me on live stream. In case you're having any trouble, please let me know. All right. Yeah. Now, Performance Max is a good fit for three different marketing objectives. One of them is online sales, the other being lead generation, and the third one being offline sales or omni-channel sales. So those are three different marketing objectives for which Performance Max is a good fit. I'll take a pause and see if anyone can confirm. I hope you all can hear me. See you fine. Okay, great. Thanks for confirming. Everyone. So, okay, moving ahead. So, I was talking about three different marketing objectives for which Performance Max is a good fit. As I said, online sales, lead generation, and offline sales, or otherwise also called as omni-channel sales, are three different marketing objectives for which we suggest you to use Performance Max. Now, you may ask, hey, what if my business objective is to drive, say, awareness or consideration for my campaign? Well, in those cases, you can either continue running your existing channel specific campaigns, or you can probably utilize demand gen campaigns if you're someone who has a clear visibility of how demand gen works. But Performance Max, as I said, is there to help you drive performance. And this is specifically for performance accounts and performance campaigns. And hence, the three marketing objective that it works really well for are, as I said, lead gen, online sales, and offline sales, or otherwise also called as omni-channel sales. Now, within these three marketing objective, you can have multiple goals, right? For example, if your marketing objective is to drive online sales, you can have a goal of driving online purchase, and you can create your conversion actions around online purchase. You can have in-app purchase as your marketing goal, and that can be another goal within online sales marketing objective, or loyalty sign up, or subscription, and so on and so forth. Similarly, for lead gen, you can have different kinds of goals in consideration. You can have request a quote, sign up, lead form, phone call leads, imported leads. All those can be different goals that you may want to achieve within lead generation marketing objectives. So even if these are the three marketing objectives for which Google Ads suggest you, or we suggest you to use Performance Max. At the same time, you also want to clarify that within those three marketing objectives, you can have good number of goals that you can target. Now, another advantage that you have with marketing of Performance Max is that Performance Max can optimize to one or multiple goals. What it means is, say, if you're creating a campaign for online sales, you can have multiple goals as your campaign goal, right? And when you do that, Performance Max is smart enough to understand that it has to optimize and generate enough leads and enough conversion actions across all the goals that you have defined. So your campaign is capable of optimizing itself for multiple goals within a single campaign, and that's something which a lot of people tend to not be very much aware about. I just wanted to clarify that there is a possibility that with Performance Max you can target multiple campaigns, and you can have or rather you can have multiple goals within a single campaign. All right, now moving ahead. All right. Now, on this slide, we precisely talk about different benefits and different ways through which Performance Max is capable of driving all the three marketing objective. Now, if I talk about, for example, lead generation, under setup and bidding, what you have for PMax or under PMax for lead generation is that you have ability to bid towards lower funnel goals. For example, if you want to only and only track and drive goals towards clients' desired biz outcomes. For example, if they want only and only to track number of form submissions, and only those will be considered as a goal, you have an ability to create campaigns which drives traffic and which drives conversion to that lower funnel goals, which otherwise would have been otherwise difficult to do. So your Performance Max for lead gen help you drive lower funnel goals as well. If you look at some of the notable features under lead generation, you have universal campaign for non-retail clients. So you can create a universal campaign for non-retail clients as well. Now, for those of us who have used Smart Shopping campaign, we know that Smart Shopping campaign was helpful, and it allowed you to run your campaign on more than one channel, but that was limited to retail. With Performance Max lead generation, what you do have now is, even if you are a non-retail client, or even if you have a non-retail client that you're working for, you can still create a universal campaign that runs across all the channels. You also can run cross-channel bidding towards unified goals. As I said, if you're running a single campaign, you're setting one bidding strategy, and your campaign is capable of having that bidding strategy in a way that it works cross-channel, which means all the channels within that campaign will have a shared budget strategy, or bidding strategy rather, which allows your campaign to optimize and figure out the channel that works best for your campaign. So those are some notable features for lead generation. Similarly, you have for online sales and offline sales as well. If you want, you can take a pause. We'll take a pause. You can look at this slide, or you can also come back and watch this video, pause wherever you want, and look through this slide. But this has a lot of information around the setup and bidding for different marketing objective, notable features that comes for different marketing objective, and also suggested strategic role that you need to play for different marketing objective. It also talks about auto migration to a large extent. That's not really any more critical, because obviously most of the campaigns, if not all, and most of the accounts have already went through auto migration. So you must have seen for online sales campaign, if you're running SSC campaign, your campaigns must have already been auto migrated to Performance Max. Similarly, for offline sales, if you are running local campaigns, those must have already been auto migrated to Performance Max. However, for lead generation, you have to create a new campaign if you want to use Performance Max. And similarly, for online sales for non-retail, you need to create a new campaign for Performance Max. There are some questions which I'll try to take now. Let me pick up a few questions from the chat. Okay. So a question from CZ81 says, can I exclude my remarketing list on PMax so it does not cannibalize with my remarketing video campaigns? Okay, so interestingly, there is a segment where we talk about exclusions that are available for Performance Max campaign. It tells you what kind of brand safety exclusions you can apply, and we'll cover this question there. And I don't want to diverse too much into it, because obviously there is a dedicated slide that talks about it. But a very interesting question for sure, CZ81. Thanks for asking. Okay, now Omar says, is there a way to view specific metrics strictly from video assets in Performance Max campaigns? Um, Omar, if you're asking for asset reporting currently is not supported in Performance Max campaign. But what you can do, however, is that you can look at performance drivers report, and performance drivers report to a large extent, to some extent, gives you good insight into the different products, different assets that have been working good for you. So that will be one way to look at it. Again, something which we do cover under insights segment. But yes, that's an alternative for checking any asset type for that matter, and how they are performing under Performance Max campaign. Okay, there's a question from Kanev Song. He asks, hello, can you give an example for few campaign goals to use in PMax? Yes, so as I said, PMax can support three different marketing objectives. We talked about online sales and how there can be different goals within online sales. Similarly, for lead gen, how you can have different goals. And your Performance Max campaign can drive those multiple goals. Let's hypothetically say you are running a Performance Max campaign for lead gen, right? And one of the goal that you have is to drive form submission, right? At the same time, you also want to drive call to business, right? So you have a call to call extension, and you want people to call your business. You also probably have a PDF, which is a white paper, and you want people to download that white paper as well. So if you have created those three different conversion actions in your ad group or in your ad account, you can create a single Performance Max campaign and select those three as three different conversion actions, and three different goals, and your campaign will be able to optimize in order to drive all those three goals for your business. So that's what I was talking about when I said Performance Max is capable of driving multiple goals for a single campaign. I hope that answered your question. Um, Can we song? I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Seems more like a channel name, but yeah. And if any of you have a follow-up question, please feel free to put in the chat as well. Okay. There's another question from Christian. Christian asks, how can I push more the products that don't show as much as I want in the actual PMax campaigns? A lot of the products are neglected. Okay, Christian, we will touch briefly upon how you can structure your account in a way to make sure that your products are targeted properly, and you have clear visibility for all the product. But to give you a hint, how you need to create your campaign and campaign structure is that if you're working for a business and they have multiple product lines, you should create one campaign for each product line, right? For example, if you're working for a personal care brand, and they have products under, say, skincare, they have products under, say, hair care, they also have products around, say, probably health, right? So you should create three different campaigns targeting all the different categories of product. And there are multiple reasons for it, because your ROI on different categories will be different. Your bidding strategy should be different. Your retargeting and your audiences that you add to your campaign for better optimization of your campaign will again be different for these three different product line. So ensure that you have your campaign structure in a way that allows all product line to have equal visibility, or at least optimal visibility, right? So that would be one strategy that change that I'll suggest. I'm not sure if you're anyway doing it. If not, try doing that, and that will definitely help you get good visibility for all your product types. In case you have any specific questions, you can always put a comment on Ads on Air, and that will give us a visibility, and we'll get back to you on that question. All right, I've covered all the questions that we had in the chat so far. Thank you everyone again for asking those questions. If you have any more question, as I said, please keep on typing and keep on sharing in the chat. And as and when time permit, we'll get to those questions one by one. Now, one thing that I really want to call out is that advertisers that use, there is a thing in Performance Max called new customer only mode. So you have an ability, and there is a possibility that you can create a Performance Max campaign, and you can say, hey, all I want to do now with Performance Max campaign is to acquire new customer only. I don't want any repeat customer. So someone who is already a consumer, someone who's already a customer of our business, we don't want to target them through our Performance Max campaign. And you can create a new customer only mode campaign as well. Now, those advertisers that use new customer only mode have seen an improvement in their new customer ratio by around 13%. And they have also seen at the same time a reduction of acquisition cost for new customers by around 19%. So what it means is that you're not only getting higher volume of new customer, but you're also getting those new customer at a reduced cost for acquisition. So your cost per acquisition is going down, but your volume of conversion for new customer is going high. So it has twofold benefit that you get when it comes to running Performance Max for new customer only mode. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said when you're running a channel specific campaign or a single channel campaign, what you have, and this illustration on the right side is actually talks exactly how Performance Max or a cross channel campaign works against a single channel campaign, right? So, say if you're running a single channel campaign for one of your marketing objective, what you have is you have a selected few audience that actually hangs out and that actually spend time on that specific channel. Now, if you compare that with cross-channel campaign, you are now available on multiple channels. So you have more conversion opportunities now, and you're capable of optimizing your bid in a way that you capture the largest fish among all the fish available across all the channels. So that's one of the advantages that you get, and this is what we were talking about when we said this allows, or Performance Max allows you to have multiple conversions and conversion value for your campaign and for your account. Right. Now, how do you optimize, or how do you show your authority? And as an expert, you go to your customer or your client and say, hey, I understand what's happening in my account. And these are the insights that I have about how the campaigns are performing. For that, you have something called insights within Google Ads. Now, apart from insights, you also have a few other options that allows you to optimize your campaign. For example, you have budgeting. So you can always you have the option to always tweak your budget in order to optimize your visibility for a particular campaign. You also have full control over bidding, so you can choose how much you want to bid, how you want to bid, what you want to optimize or bid towards, and that way you can again optimize your campaign according to desired goal that you have for that campaign. And then there are audience signals that you can provide, so that's another way. And then you have creatives. So those are 5 different pillars that gives you a new center of excellence. Those are 5 pillars that you can tweak and that you can utilize in order to optimize the Performance Max campaign. Now, how does Performance Max for lead generation works? Now, see, when it comes to Performance Max for lead gen, it is going to be a complementary campaign to your primary lead gen campaigns. Remember this thing: whenever you start utilizing Performance Max for lead gen, your primary campaign, your primary lead gen campaign will continue to be as is. So if you're running a search campaign as a primary campaign for your lead gen objective, continue running your search campaign and keep that as your primary campaign. Club that with Performance Max in order to get the untapped opportunity. Now, how search campaign and Performance Max campaign together will help you maximize your performance is one, it will help you drive more performance through automation. Since your Performance Max campaign will cover anything which your search campaign is not able to, and that through automation, you're capable of capturing, you're capable of utilizing full potential of your campaign and Google Ads machine learning in order to acquire more and more customer. This also helps you by driving more performance through unlocking cross-channel inventory, which meets your CPA and ROAS target. So now, since you're available across multiple channels, you're capable of optimizing your bids on cross-channel, and hence you're able to also capture those opportunities which your primary channel campaign, for example, search campaign in this case, was not able to capture. So your Performance Max campaign will help you get those new customers which your single channel campaign was not able to capture. So Performance Max campaign for lead gen will always be a complementary campaign for your primary lead gen campaign. This is something which you need to be very careful about. If you're running your search campaigns as a primary source for lead gen, do not pause them, do not replace them with a Performance Max campaign. Add Performance Max campaign on top of your search campaign in order to capture any demand which your search campaign is not capable of. Now, how do you drive high quality lead using conversion value rules? Now, one of the question that we get and one of the feedback that we received earlier is that, hey, we're running, say, Performance Max campaign for lead gen. However, the quality of leads are not of the same quality as we expected. Now, how do we make sure that our lead quality is of high, and how do we ensure that our leads are of a greater quality? Now, there are a few ways to do that, and one of those is called conversion value rules. So, in Performance Max, you have a thing called conversion value rules that allows you to set rule for different demographic signals, right? For example, if you have audience lists, right? If you have identified some audiences which are more, which are more targeted towards your offering, and you want to incentivize them, you can choose audience and you can set a conversion value rule for such audiences. That way, you give Google a signal and say, hey, you know what? Even though we are open to get audiences and conversions from all across the spectrum of audiences, however, these are the audiences that are more valuable to us, and we want to capture these audiences as much as possible because their quality is higher to our business. So that's one way. The other is if you have some geolocations identified which is more critical for you and which is more beneficial for you, you can set conversion value rule for geolocations as well, and same goes for devices as well. So if you have devices that you think are super critical and have better capability of driving conversion to your business, you can use them as well, and that way you will be able to set a conversion value rule for locations, geolocations, and also for devices. So those are three different levers at which you can set conversion value rules and optimize and improve the quality of lead that you gather from your Performance Max campaign. Okay, now there are some questions. I'll take up those questions now. Joey says, would you recommend PMax campaign for driving signups that could potentially convert to paying users later? So, Joy, yes. If you were attentive on the marketing objective slides, under different marketing objective, you have different goals, and one of the goals that you have for a lead generation is signups, right? So you can definitely create a Performance Max campaign for signups as well if that's a conversion action that you have set up in your account. Remember, Performance Max is mostly for lower funnel and mid funnel to some extent, conversion action. So you must ensure that your conversion actions or the signups that you get is closer to conversion actions. So if you think that the signups that happens on your website ultimately tend to convert into a user, a paying user, it's perfectly fine. You can create, in fact, a Performance Max campaign to drive signups for a specific program on your website. And the question has a follow-up question, which says, "What is the minimum number of products you recommend that I should have on a PMax campaign?" Christian, there's no minimum number. Right? So if you have feed, and if you're using Google Merchant Center, you can target as many products as you want, and you can target as little number of products as you want. Performance Max is capable of driving result in any which case. As I said, it's automated. It understands the product dynamics. It understands the signals that you provide, and it is able to optimize your campaign visibility in order to give drive results, irrespective of number of products that you have in your campaign. Okay, there's another question from Kane V Song. It says, if PMax campaign starts really good but stops spending after a month, what can solve the issue and get it back into spending if it meets the target? Okay, there are two things that I'll suggest. Right, one, this is very specific question, and there can be multiple reasoning for this. For example, if you're running a feed-based performance max campaign, maybe your feed of disapproval has gone up, and you have very few products which is approved in feed, and hence your performance max campaign performance have gone down. Now this again a hypothetical situation that I'm talking about, so there can be multiple reasonings for it. Kane, if you want, you can go to ads on air. You can put a personal chat with me, and I'll be able to solve for this. You'll have to share more details about your account and campaigns, and after the session I'll probably get back to you with more detail on this. Or you can share more detail about your issue in the QR code that I shared earlier. I'll share that QR code later as well, so you can scan that one, and you can share specific about your account. For example, your account ID, which is your CID, and you can also share your campaign ID, the specific campaign that you're talking about, and we'll definitely have a look at your account and campaign, and we'll get back to you. All right, those are a few questions. So the next marketing objective is store goals. So as I said, Performance Max is a good fit for store goals as well. Now, what Performance Max for store goals does is it allows and it helps you to find right person at the right time with the right masses on the right platform. Now, these four things are super critical for an offline or a store goal objective businesses. Now, when I talk about a store goals objective, there can be multiple strategies that you want your performance max to help you with. Now one of those strategy would be maximizing traffic for all the locations. If you have, say, n number of locations across multiple geographies, now one of the strategy that you may have while creating a performance max campaign for a store goal is to maximize traffic for all the locations that you have your businesses open at. The other strategy would be to support specific locations. You may say, hey, I'm good at, say, 70% of my locations. I'm getting enough traffic, the enough footfalls happening at those locations. But for the rest of the locations, I really want to create a performance max campaign that helps me drive, footfalls across these specific locations. That's your another strategy, and that strategy can also be supported to Performance Max. And the third strategy that can be supported to Performance Max campaign is when you are trying to drive store visits through product showcasing. So that's another strategy that you may have, and that strategy can also be supported to Performance Max campaign. Now, when you look for maximizing traffic across all locations, you can have three use cases. One, you need to drive store visits because offline customers are more valuable to you. So, in case your offline customers are more valuable to you, and they tend to spend more probably to your business, that can be one reason for which you may want to drive more or maximum number of traffic across all the locations. Or if your annual sale is coming up and you believe that by driving traffic to your offline stores you would be able to meet your sales target, that's another use case in which maximize traffic across all your marketing locations or your all locations would be one of the strategy that you're looking for. And the third use case is, what can I do to drive more offline visits and sales? So that's a generic and a probably a little shallow use case, but in that use case as well, you would want to drive maximum number of traffic across all the locations. All right. Now, if I talk about Performance Max for online sales, this becomes very critical and probably one of the most interesting segment of for today, right? Advertisers that have spent or that are using Performance Max on an average have achieved 18% more conversions at a similar cost per action. So those advertisers that are running online sales campaigns and they started using Performance Max, they were able to drive around 18% more conversions, and that too at a similar cost per action that they were driving before adopting into Performance Max. And that value is way more than 13% that we discussed about earlier when it comes to new customer only mode, right? Now, what's new in Performance Max if I compare that with Smart Shopping? I think I did mention this earlier. Performance Max is an upgrade of SSC campaign or Smart Shopping campaign. So if you look at all these four pillars, which is inventory, formats, biddings, and control and transparency, what we did is we brought in all the best features of Smart Shopping and we added additional features, and that becomes Performance Max. For example, under inventory, you had search, 3P display, O&O display. We included dynamic search ads, included discovery ads, included YouTube in stream, included maps, and that becomes Performance Max. Similarly, for formats, bidding, and control and transparency as well. So Performance Max is an upgrade or an upgraded version of Smart Shopping campaign that has more teeth to it, that has more power to it. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said new customers. So you can drive online sales by engaging either all users, and you can still optimize for new customers. There are two ways. One, you say, hey, I'm okay if I get traffic from any customer. However, I would really be happy if you can drive more new customer than the existing customers. In that case, you're open to bid higher every time there's a new customer that comes to your business. So that's one mode. And the other, as I already discussed, which is a new customer only mode, in that, which is the second option on the screen, as you can see, which allows you to optimize only for new customers. So if you have your conversion actions being tracked, if you have offline conversion data also uploaded in your Google Ads account, Google Ads tend to and ensures that your Performance Max campaign is not retargeting any of the existing customer base, and you get new customers only driven to your business. So that's a mode which is available under Performance Max. Now that you know how Performance Max works and how it works for different marketing objective, you would really be interested to know how you can start using Performance Max campaign if you are someone who hasn't used it before. But before we talk about it, I'll circle back on what I said earlier. For those of us who were not there in the beginning, you have a few there are some opportunities for all the attendees to get a hands on. For example, you have an opportunity to meet the PMs, the product managers behind all these influential products that we all use in our day-to-day practice. So be that Performance Max or auto apply recommendation or optimization score, all those products are being developed by a team of product managers. And if you engage with us, if you share your insights, if you ask us questions, some of you will be shortlisted and will get an opportunity to meet the PMs behind all these products. You also stand a chance to join the PE community, which is a very cohort community of product experts who gets to answer and participate on a community meant for product experts. And then you can also win Google Swag by engaging with us live. The QR code that you see on the right side of your screen is the Google form, of which you can scan the QR code and go to the Google form, share your insights, share your input on how you think Performance Max can be improved. So that's one way of engaging. But make sure that when you submit that form, you do share your valid email ID. Most critically, if you share your official ID, there's a better chance of us getting back to you. And also ensure that you share valid CIDs that you manage at your agency or as a personal or probably someone who works on campaigns individually. So in that case, share the right set of CIDs that you manage, and by doing that, you stand a chance, as I said, to win one of these exciting opportunities that are there. Now, having said that, let's move to the next segment where we talk about how you can start using Performance Max. Now, there are tools and ways through which we help you, throughout your journey of Performance Max. So if you're planning your Performance Max campaign, if you're planning the right marketing budgets and assets, and you need help, there are tools available. Performance Planner will help you find how much of budget you need to put for a performance max campaign. You have video creation tool that helps you create video assets in case you don't have existing video assets for your account. So you can use video creation tool in order to create those assets, which is again part of Google Ads UI. Then also OptiScore recommendations are there, which helps you to adopt into Performance Max. It helps you identify those campaigns that can be that can be created under Performance Max in your account. So that's the plan phase. Now you go to implementation, and you need help there as well in order to manage, edit, and make adjustments in at scale. And you have there also support from Google Ads. You have Google Ads editor that helps you make these changes at scale. You have APIs to support and scripts there as well. Similarly, for optimizing and measurement, you have optimization score and experiments. And for monitoring your campaign performance, you have Insight Space and Google Ads mobile app that helps you manage your campaign and monitor your campaign performance better. Now, Performance Max creates value by driving additional conversions and value given your goals. So I think we did discuss about this earlier also, which is Performance Max is capable of driving multiple conversion and conversion value for your campaign. And how it does is that it ensures that your bid is being optimized cross channel. And when your bid is being optimized cross channel, it finds the most or highest ROI beneficial or conversion opportunities, and hence able to drive conversion value at a lower cost, and in return drive multiple conversions for your business. That's one way through which it helps. Now, if you remember earlier, we discussed about different marketing objective for which Performance Max is a good fit. So you have lead generation, online sales, and offline sales. Now, there are some marketing objective for which we don't suggest you to use Performance Max, and in fact continue running your channel specific campaign. Those are awareness, consideration, app installs and engagement, and so on and so forth. Now, there can be some cases in which you may want to upgrade or you may want to migrate to Performance Max. In some cases, you may want to continue running your specific campaign. For example, if your focus is now to grow performance and you don't care about channels or channels through which those performance comes, it's now time to switch to Performance Max or start using Performance Max for to get access to all Google Ads inventory and formats in order to create and grow your performance across channels. Now, if you are using Smart Shopping campaign or local campaign, again something which is already auto migrated or migrated voluntarily to Performance Max, but in those cases where you want to increase performance, however you are specific about channels, you're specific about formats. You say, hey, I want to drive performance, however I only want to drive performance through search campaign, or I only want to drive performance through, say, display campaign. In those cases, we do not suggest you to use Performance Max, because Performance Max obviously is a cross-channel campaign which optimizes and which gives you visibility across multiple channels under Google Ads inventory. So avoid using Performance Max in case you are restricted on your channel specification and also the formats that you want to use, or in case you're also specific about the audiences that you want to target. In those cases, you can continue running your video or display or discovery or search campaign as it is. Now, creating a Performance Max campaign is extremely simple. As any other campaign type, you have a few steps, precisely around 6 steps through which you can create your Performance Max campaign. The first few steps are very similar. You select a goal or multiple goals for your campaign. The second option or the second step is that you choose Performance Max campaign as the campaign for your goal achievement. The third step is that you determine a bid and budget strategy for your campaign. Fourth step is you choose additional campaign settings. For example, your language, the locations that you want to target, and other campaign level settings you set at step 4. Step 5 is where Performance Max differs from any other campaign type. So step 5 is when you create asset groups. Now, asset groups are group of assets and all formats of assets that can be supported through Performance Max. So you create an asset group, You provide all kind of asset. You provide headlines, descriptions, images, videos, and whatnot. And then you also add audience signals on top of it. So that's step 5. And then under step 6, you have an optional step to add extensions if you want to, for your Performance Max campaign, which is recommended, by the way, but it's an optional step that you have. Now, what is required to launch Performance Max campaign is that you need to have a proper conversion tracking in place. You also need to have bare minimum required text assets, 3 of 30 character headlines, 190 character headline, and 290 character descriptions. Similarly, you also need to have image assets in a few format, which is listed down here. And you also need to have video assets. By the way, if you don't have video assets, you can leave that field and there will be auto generated video that will be added to your campaign as well. But it's always advisable that you have a custom created video which is greater than or equals to 10 seconds in length, horizontal, vertical, or square format added to your campaign as well. So these are prerequisite for launching a Performance Max campaign. Now, how do you optimize a Performance Max campaign? Now, this is a life cycle of a Performance Max campaign. The first step, as we discussed, is where you define goal of your campaign. After defining goal, you provide a few signals, which includes data, creatives, feed, and forecast and settings. So under data, you provide audiences, conversion values, and conversion tracking quality. Under creatives, you provide image, video, text assets, and also landing page and UX and SEO. Under feed, you provide shopping feed if you're running a feed-based Performance Max campaign. Under forecast and settings, you choose bids, and you also choose NCA if that's something which you want to apply or optimize your campaign for. And you also have an option to set budgets. Now, when it comes to optimizing your campaign, all these pillars can be optimized, and these are the segments, these are the signals that you can provide and tweak in order to optimize your campaign. Now, based on these signals, the Performance Max campaign is capable of using Google's AI and drive result for your business. Now, that result can be measured and fed back, and mapped against the goals that you had for your campaign. So that's measurement part of it. And then you also get, along with measurement, the insights, which helps you identify why your campaign worked or functioned in a particular way. If it worked well, why it did work well. If it did not go as well as you expected, why it did not go as well as expected. Now, there are some best practices that you must keep in your mind when it comes to Performance Max, which mostly talks about upgrading. So, for example, you need to have at least one asset group per campaign, with all asset types added to them, ensuring that you're maintaining opt-ins into URLs, adding your customer match and dynamic remarketing list as audience signals across all your Performance Max campaign, aligning your campaign objectives and conversion goals in order to ensure that your business objective is being fulfilled, taking care of the hygiene of merchant center and conversion tracking in case you're running feed-based campaign, and also ensuring to add all types of creatives, images, logos, videos that are supported under Performance Max. So those are some generic best practices that you must keep in mind when it comes to optimizing Performance Max campaign. Now, there are other pillars as well, which includes optimization score and auto apply recommendation that helps you optimize further your Performance Max campaign. Then there's budget and ROAS target. Then you have insight pays, audience signals, and brand safety, which we'll talk about in detail in the next few slides. And then feed quality in merchant center. Now, optimization score and the recommendation that you get to see on your Google Ads account does support Performance Max campaign as well. So if you're running Performance Max campaign, and there are any opportunities of optimizing, those will be listed as recommendation on your Google Ads account as well. So you can choose Performance Max campaign filter, and you can see all the recommendations that are available for Performance Max in your Google Ads account. There are, as I said earlier, there are some insights that helps you find more about your campaign performance. For example, there's performance driver that shows you which asset group is working better for you. It also tells you if there's a product or product group or product type that is performing and that is driving better result as compared to rest of the product and product group. So this is what I was talking about when someone asked me about video asset, and information about how video asset is performing. So asset group reporting, which is part of performance drivers, will help you identify the kind of asset groups that are working better for your campaign. Then you have consumer interest insights that gives you a theme of search terms that people are searching for in order to reach your ad campaign, in order to see your campaign. Then you have audience insights that surfaces all Google audience segments which are overrepresented in your conversions when compared to targeted populations. So this gives you all the Google audience. So it surfaces the detail about Google audiences that is working better for your campaign as compared to non-audience. And then you have auction insights, which works similar to any other campaign type. This helps you identify how you are faring against your competitors. As I said, audience signals is another way through which you can optimize your campaign. So use audience list and then provide audience signal. So when you share audiences to your Performance Max campaign, what you do is you allow Google to understand the kind of audiences that you want to target, and Google is able to drive more traffic from those audiences. Now, prioritize customer match and dynamic remarketing list whenever it comes to campaign optimization. Ensure that those audience lists are added to your campaign and use them as an audience signal. Or you can also set audience value rules as we discussed earlier, or you can optimize your campaign for new customer acquisition goal only. Now, there are some brand safety and suitability control that are available, and that is listed down here. Some of these brand safety and suitability is available at account level. The others are available at campaign level. For example, if I talk about inventory modes, you can set exclusion at account level. You can set content exclusions at account level, and that will be respected for your Performance Max campaign as well. Similarly, for digital content levels, keyword exclusions is something which is supported currently at account level, so you can set keyword exclusions at account level as well. And brand exclusion is something which we have recently launched, which is now available at campaign level. So if you want to exclude some specific brand term from your Performance Max campaign because those are targeted through your channel specific campaign, you can do that at campaign level as well, but it's only applicable for brand terms. Then you have topic exclusion, which is now available for at account level. And you can also implement it if you have a Google account team associated with you. You can reach out to them and they can apply this at campaign level as well. You also have placement exclusion and app category exclusion available at account level. So those are all brand safety and suitability control that you have. As I said, you can either take a screenshot of this, or you can come back to the link that you are watching our video on right now, and you can always go back to this segment, and you can watch all the suitability controls and brand safety control that you have. So there's something called troubleshooting. This is very helpful in understanding, and this gives you an explanation of your for your Performance Max campaign. So if you're running your Performance Max campaign and you wonder why there is a decline in performance, you don't have to wonder anymore. Google Ads will help you understand why. So if you go to your campaign performance data and you set a custom range and you compare that with the custom range, this will give you an information whether your campaign has performed better in the custom date range or not, and if not, why not. This gives you an explanation basically to identify the reasons for your campaign to have decline in performance, and then you can go back and optimize your campaign. You also need to optimize your feed. This is one of the area which is mostly overlooked. So if you look at a typical feed funnel, you have total products and you have approved products, in stock, targeted, and then impression and clicked products. What you really have to ensure that you're optimizing your feed from top to bottom, which is ensure that most of your total products are also approved products. And if there is disapproval, identify the reasoning for it and solve for it in order to improve approval rate. And same from approval to in stock. If in case a lot of your approved products are not in stock, ensure that you're maintaining your stock in a way that you have your approved products in stock most of the time, and then targeted and impression and clicked. So you have to ensure that you're optimizing your feed at all these stages that's listed down here. This is product diagnostic tool that you have under Google Merchant Center account. So if you have a Google Merchant Center account, you can go to your products tab and under products diagnostic, and that will give you an understanding of why your ads or your products are disapproved, and also ways to improve approval rate and how you can approve your product. Now, this is how a high quality shopping ad looks like. These are all the annotations of a high quality product, like product or shopping ads. So you have a proper title, you have a proper description, you also have rating and reviews, accurate price including tax and shipping and high quality emails. So in case you're running Performance Max campaign for feed, make sure that you have all these five pillars optimized along with your feed quality in order to take best advantage of Performance Max. This slide talks about a proper product title structure. What we recommend you as a naming structure is brand plus product type and attributes. And depending on which category your product and your client's product fall into, you have different recommended structure of your title tag, which you can take advantage of. Again, something which is a food for thought. So you can always come back to this recording and watch the slide in order to find your category and recommended structure for your category, and how you can have your title tag and your title for your product your feed campaigns properly structured. We on this slide we talk about some of the annotations of a shopping ad. It talks about different parts of a shopping ad. It talks about the titles. It talks about the local inventory ads or standard ads. Annotation, it talks about local inventory ad and LIA plus pickup. It talks about automatic price drop and so on and so forth. So there are nine different annotations that is represented on this slide. That's precisely about it. I'll quickly look and see if there's any questions in the chat. There are a few. Let me take these questions. If PMax campaign starts really good, I think we addressed this one. There's another question which says, what changes can I make to optimize existing PMax campaign, like change assets? You can definitely tweak assets, but do not change your asset too frequently, Kane, right? However, I think we did discuss about few ways to optimize Performance Max campaign. So I hope you have clear idea of how that is done now. But one way to do it is to ensure that you are optimizing your asset, you are providing enough signals that is needed for Performance Max campaign to optimize. You're also managing and optimizing your bids. Don't make any drastic changes, but ensure that you're optimizing your bid. If your bid is stopping your campaign to perform, ensure that you're optimizing your bid in a way that you have more visibility on your Performance Max campaign. And there are other ways also, like you can go always look back at your recommendations tab and figure out the missing part or the areas which need improvement, and you can solve for those issues, and hence in order you can also get an optimized performance of your PMax campaign. So those are different ways through which you can optimize your Performance Max campaign. All right. I hope this was helpful. What I'll do is I'll share a post session feedback form along with more details about the camp to all of those who attended the session today. Thank you so much for attending the call. Please look forward to that email and do engage and do share your feedback as well. Thank you everyone for your time today.